It's been really great and really refreshing. I think first of all because you're actually getting to see people face to face, and that connection that is beyond the little square on the computer screen. That I didn't realize how much I missed that until coming here and seeing other Asian people, but also people who are interested in the Asian community to learn more about how to connect with us and engage with us. I think the biggest takeaway that I got from yesterday's sessions was that there is a huge opportunity, that there needs to be more that's done by the entire media ecosystem, right? And that includes the media publishers, the in-language providers, the content creators, advertisers, as well as agencies, to make sure that there is more representation of Asians, that there is greater engagement, but ultimately there needs to be more education and the decision makers about how much to invest and who to invest in when it comes to Asian engagement of the audiences, right? That's still being held by people who are not Asian.
Right.
So there still needs to be more convincing. There still needs to be more education and awareness about what is the potential of the Asian American population, of the Asian American community. And I think the other aspect of this too is, this is what I learned from your study too, Iris, right? The Asian American population is starting to become more aware as well of our role and our place in this country. And so there is greater demand for brands to be accountable, to take some responsibility, and to have brands really follow their talk with actual walk, right? Yeah, it's beyond the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month. It's not just about, oh yay, we celebrate Asians during May and then nothing else beyond that. And we heard from a lot of the speakers yesterday, like, yes, well, we can take advantage of those cultural moments because you're acknowledging that it's important to the Asian community. You have to think beyond that in terms of what kind of products are you putting out there? Are you making sure that the content that you're advertising in or the ads themselves, are they representative of Asians that you're trying to engage? At Nielsen, I act as our diversity, equity, and inclusion communications leader and also our Asian spokeswoman. And I'm very proud of being able to do this. Nielsen really stands at this center of business, community, and advocacy, right? And we hold our role and our ability to deliver the unique insights as well as data that we have from our panels, from the partnerships that we have with many different data providers as well, to be able to deliver actual viewing data, content measurement, as well as the marketing and analytics about the power of bringing those two together. And we want to be able to work with organizations like the 3AF to make sure that those insights are being put to good use, that it's empowering the community, as well as the marketers and the media platforms that are working so hard to engage and connect with the Asian American population. So I've been in this role for about 3.5 years now. I've been with Nielsen for almost 12. So in various communications roles. Because of the long tenure that I've had at Nielsen, I feel like I have a certain understanding about what the company can bring, and again, as I mentioned earlier, the unique data and insights that we have. But given what's been happening the last 3 years, right, it's brought me a deeper level of engagement with my job. It's no longer just about putting my logic and my head into the work in terms of what kind of messages do we need to put out there for the company. It's also about what the company's role is in truly helping to lift up underrepresented Asian voices, as well as the other underrepresented voices that exist in American society today. The one thing that I am very proud of is our Diverse Intelligence series. So this is about 10 years going now, these series of reports as well as articles that spotlight different diverse audiences and the opportunities and challenges that exist in terms of representing them and engaging with them. And it's not, we can't lift up underrepresented voices by ourselves. We have the data, but the channel providers and the content creators, that rests in other people's hands. Organizations such as 3AF and other community groups like Gold House or TAF, or OCA, right? All of those different community organizations have to lean into to continue building that awareness and educating the other folks within the media ecosystem to make sure that there is funding, to make sure that there is talent and to make sure that there is additional focus on the growing Asian population within this country. Not only does it make business sense, it also makes brand sense. There is this growing awareness, and I'm very proud of the fact that I'm able to bring that awareness to all those different parts of the media ecosystem. I think in terms of challenges, requires the media ecosystem and this group of people to lean in together. There is sometimes misconnections, right? When you look at the headlines about the Asian American population in the last couple of years, there's this two worlds. One would be the trauma, right, around the AAPI, anti-Asian hate that's been going on. But then by the same token, we have what's been going on earlier this year. The moments like the Oscar wins, right, in the award season, there's never been that much visibility. That's good. But somewhere in between all of that, right, how are people truly leaning in and engaging? I think there's a lot of Asian Americans out there who are a little bit confused, I would say, because, there is so much to celebrate. Why is it that only when there is a win that the spotlight's on us, or when there is trouble, the spotlight's on us? I see that personally as that opportunity as well as a challenge, because brands are coming to people like us, also different brand and advertisers, marketing organizations, to ask them, what can we do here to lead in and to help support the Asian American community? And we've got a lot of people who are willing to show up and to provide the information as well as the proof that there is power within the community. So, I think being able to pull together our resources, pull together our data is an opportunity for all of us. So while there has been some evolution in how marketing has gone from general market to more inclusive marketing, there's still an opportunity here to better understand what's going on with the Asian American population. And we have that 1.4 trillion buying power, fastest growing in this country, projected to be 1.9 trillion by 2026. We're also the fastest growing population, right? In addition, there is a very fast growing group of people who have identified themselves as Asian in combination with other races. So it's a different world altogether. It's no longer Asians for Asians alone, but ultimately there's still this very strong relationship to the home countries, the native tongues. And I think there was some data from the Census Bureau where we heard that the Asian population here come from 20 over countries around the world. The majority of us are foreign born, that we speak over 50 languages. And that diversity, I think, is still not truly understood. So the first place that's why I'm very grateful for the collaboration we have with 3AF to be able to truly understand what the importance of in-language media is, because there's so much of that that's still untapped. So with the study, right, we did a focus on Chinese, Koreans, and Vietnamese languages, and we fielded a survey in those specific languages that are native. We made sure that all of the pre-survey testing was done, making sure that it was culturally correct, the questions were being answered. And when the answers came back, we made sure that the answers were not being misinterpreted or biased in any way, to truly dig into what's going on in the minds of Chinese, Vietnamese, and Korean respondents. And I think the one big takeaway is that there's a tremendous level of trust in that native language media that we don't typically get elsewhere. One of the big takeaways was the answer to the question of whether you would, one, pay more attention to the ads when it's placed in native language content, and two, what was your likelihood to purchase something that is advertised in that native language content, and it was all through the roof, right? Off the charts. Chinese, Korean, and Vietnamese language respondents were more likely to say that they would buy something that was advertised in content that's in their language, and also more likely to pay attention. We also did a sample of English language respondents who identify as Chinese, Vietnamese, or Korean. And interestingly, that group was the most likely to say that in-language media helps them stay connected to their cultural roots. And that to me speaks a lot to why it is that brands need to make sure that in-language media is still a part of their marketing playbook. That cultural connection is something that Asian consumers hold very dear. And even though that may not be your main language, it's still a path, it's still a way to stay connected, to stay true to your home countries. The other thing that Nielsen has done is to take a closer look at the impact of advertising in representative content. So, i.e., content that has Asian faces, that has Asian places, things that are familiar to the Asian consumer, right? And we found that when you are advertising in that kind of content, even though it's in English language, there is definitely a greater brand affinity. There's greater trust, like I mentioned earlier. But in addition, that those particular brands that are placing ads within that type of content, they fall in key categories like fashion, travel, pet care. We all know during COVID, a lot of people got new pets, right? And interestingly, those were also the same categories where Asians are over-indexing the general population. So there is definitely something going on there where if you are advertising within the areas where Asians are over-indexing on spend, you're going to get their attention, you're going to get those dollars. That is so important. The other thing that I think we need to consider also is the media consumption patterns that's evolving in this country. And while TV is still super important, streaming TV is growing like crazy, right? And the one other new metric that Nielsen has been looking at the last couple of years is bingeability. I don't know about you, but I've been one of those people who suddenly finds themselves still in front of my TV at 2 a.m. After watching 6 episodes of Never Have I Ever, for example. And we found that where Asians are present on screen, there's been higher bingeability in some of those programs. So that to me means that there is another opportunity there where, eyeballs, right, and focus and attention of the audience is super important and is available through content that is representative of the Asian American population.